Weiß Bescheid. Entiendo.
Welcome to All Caribbean Entrepreneurs. If you've been ready and waiting to take your business digital and get paid online while you sip something strong on the beach, this podcast is for you. We'll hear from the Caribbean's finest entrepreneurs on topics like e-commerce, business development, brand building, social media, their wins and failures. This is the only place in the region helping you navigate the digital age from the Caribbean's perspective. This is Digipreneur FM. And now, let's give it up for the Digiboss himself, Mr. Karan Rose.
Folks, we are back again with another episode of Digipreneur FM. And I am your host, Mr. Karan Rose. This is episode number 16. I can't even believe we have reached 16 episodes already. The time is flying. We are having a lot of fun. Once again, the community, the Digipreneur community has been amazing with your feedback, with some of the reviews, with the questions you guys have been asking. It has all helped, continue, build the platform and continue to give me ideas for content to create, to see what you guys are having challenges with, and then doing my best to create the content to help you guys move forward. And we've been doing it in two ways. If you guys haven't noticed, Digipreneur FM has two formats that we do this in. So we have the podcast, so it's audio only. And pretty much every episode has been more of like a masterclass, more or less. And then there's also the Digipreneur FM live show. So we will go live on our platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. And we typically have guests. And it's a bit more visual. It's a bit more interactive because you guys will be able to, jump in the chats and have conversations in the chat. And then you guys can also call in. So we have a live call-in segment where you can ask the guests any questions that are around that topic. So that has been really, really good. That has been a lot of fun to produce as well. And then this week we have two interviews on the Digipreneur FM live segment. So we have one today, July 27th, with Kenrick Kwashi from Squeeze Cash, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And if you guys haven't checked out my social media, Karan Rose, at every platform, to learn more details about, the episode, the live session that we're going to have with Kenrick tonight, dealing with Squeeze Cash and how it's one of the only platforms across the Caribbean that allows you to send money to other islands, and it has multiple currencies, and it's also the only platform that will allow you to withdraw PayPal funds and deposit those PayPal funds to your Squeeze Cash account, and Squeeze Cash can then deposit your funds into your local bank account. So we're going to be diving into all of that tonight. And then on Thursday, what date is the Thursday? The Thursday is going to be the 29th. And on that evening, we're going to be speaking with a company called Worky. And that's going to be a platform focused on Caribbean freelancers and promoting the gig economy. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for details on that. I'll be posting about that tomorrow. So today's episode is about the 5 reasons why marketing does not work well in the Caribbean. Now, I know you're hearing that and you're like, what do you mean marketing does not work well in the Caribbean? Some of my favorite ads are locally produced ads, Somebody right now is in the shower right now singing the Royal Castle anthem. What do you mean marketing does not work well? We're too creative for it not to work well. But we got to dive into, more of the new age marketing, the digital marketing, because while we have super creative people across the region, we are still stuck, you know, only relying on trying to create more traditional ads, or not just traditional ads, but we're so stuck on creating ads. Everything is an ad, right? We're not actually trying to double down and build in the digital marketing space. So we're going to be talking about the 5 reasons why marketing does not work well in the Caribbean, and it's going to be more focused on the digital marketing side of things. All right. That being said, so why doesn't marketing get the best results in the Caribbean? Ever think about that? Well, let me tell you. So reason number 1, and this is the most crucial reason why marketing, doesn't do what it needs to do. And it's because of the lack of infrastructure within businesses. So no data-driven market research is done. So many of our businesses do not have websites. They don't have any of the analytics tools, and they don't have a CRM integration or customer relationship management integration into their platforms. And then the ones that do often don't use it to its full extent. They're paying for it, but they're not necessarily using it. This leads brands not being able to directly tie in marketing campaigns to show the revenue that was generated. Folks, CEOs don't care about engagement or likes. Marketers need to show that every piece of content leads to revenue. So when you don't have the proper infrastructure, so you don't have your website, that means you don't have any of the analytics tools that comes with the website. So you can't track to see, where your people are coming from, what platforms they're coming from, what countries they're coming from. There's so much data that we get from things like Google Analytics, Google Search Console, your Bing Webmaster Tool. There's so much data that our websites, when the proper integrations are baked into it, there's so much data that we get, right? When we integrate a CRM like a HubSpot for our marketing purposes, you can directly see which platform people are coming to you from. Are people subscribing to your platforms from Facebook, LinkedIn? Are they coming from Yahoo? Are they coming from Google? Then you could see, what is the first page that led them to your platform. Was it this blog, 5 ways marketing doesn't do well? Was it this blog that drove them to come to the website? When you can tie in all of your content that you create, and then you can now say, okay, this one blog generated 100 subscribers, and those 100 subscribers have spent, in total, $100,000 in our brand. You can directly tie in content to a revenue generating activity, right? Your content, you could say, this piece of content led to X amount of sales. If you don't have the infrastructure to do that, then that data doesn't exist. It doesn't exist for you. And you can't improve what you don't measure. And you can't measure when you don't have the correct infrastructure and tools. So a lot of the marketing that companies are doing, they're just paying ad agencies as a service. Hey, go out and, create these graphics for us and post it. And then when at the end of the month, the only thing that the ad agencies can come back with and say is, okay, we created these 10 pieces of artwork and it generated this amount of impressions and this amount of likes and this amount of shares, and we got more followers. Okay, but how does that turn into revenue? Well, you can't show that on social media. You can't show that on social media. Worse, in the Caribbean, we don't even have the e-commerce tools on social media. So you're not even directly selling on the platform for even to get data on revenue generation. You're not. So without the proper infrastructure within your business, your website, your analytics tools, your CRM, you can't properly track how well your marketing is doing. And then you're forced to, work with an agency or a service provider, and all they're going to do is create the graphics for you and then tell you how many likes you got. And that ain't good. In 2021, that is not enough. That's not where you want to be. You want to be able to say, this piece of content, this one blog generated X amount of sales. This one blog generated X amount of subscribers to your platform. And the difference between, you getting the followers versus subscribers on your platform is you don't own social media. So social media could go down. Somebody wakes up in the morning and your account gets deleted by accident and your followers are gone, but you own the data. When people subscribe, and you as a business need to protect that and need to ensure that you're taking the traffic that you get from social media and turning it into owned media, things that you own, like your email list, your notification list, your text list. You own that data. And as a business, that is critical for success. Heck, they even use that as part of your valuations in business. What is the size of your owned assets? All right. So you want to be able to take that social media traffic, turn it into your owned media, your email list, your notification list, your text messaging list, because you own that data. All right. And at the end of the month, you want to see in reports, your content, how many how many leads has it generated? So how many people have subscribed to your list? Because you own that data. And how much money has that piece of content generated for your business? Reason number 2 why marketing does not work well in the Caribbean. And this, I see this and I just have to chuckle. Reason number 2 is that marketing teams have not upskilled. Internal marketing teams have not upskilled. They may be in the marketing department, but the marketing department in most of the businesses, and I'm talking like the most corporate, government, the biggest businesses, the marketing teams have not upskilled. And the only thing they do is manage the agencies that they work with. They have a general idea of what, the company wants to do, and they just relay that information over to the agency and manage the project. Internal marketing teams are more project managers than actual marketers. And that's because they have not upgraded their skills. So many of the Caribbean marketers know how to use social media, but can't go beyond that. And when I mean use social media, I'm talking about, just posting on the platform. If your in-house marketing team is still outsourcing marketing to outside agencies, that's a problem. Because even the outsourced agencies don't offer much beyond creating ads. So your internal marketing team doesn't understand how digital marketing works. They don't understand how social media for business works. So they don't know things like, your retargeting. They don't know how to do, digital market research and turn that data into content. They can't mine the data for themselves. They're not, creating, discoverable content via your blogs or your videos and learning how to optimize it on YouTube, or creating an SEO strategy so that your content becomes discoverable. The internal marketing teams are not doing any of that. All they are doing is managing the work that they outsource to the agency. And when the agencies themselves don't even know how to do that, and all they're focused on is creating ads, it is a major problem. So reason number 2 why marketing doesn't do well in the Caribbean is because the marketing teams have not upskilled. If your marketing team does not know how to create a company blog, something that is mandatory for all businesses, you are in problems. You are in problems because the only thing your marketing team is going to do is spend money. They're going to spend money on agencies to create artwork. And then if they can't guide you on the infrastructure that your business needs to have in order to measure whether or not your marketing is doing well, again, you're in problems. How do you justify on a report that what you are doing, what your marketing activities are, How do you justify on a report if they're generating money for you? If your internal marketing teams don't have the skill sets to understand how to create a content strategy or understand the infrastructure, how do you justify that on a report? And this is why marketing is always one of the first budgets to get slashed, because you can't prove at the bottom line how your marketing activities are generating revenue. And at the end of the day, businesses are in business to generate revenue, and you have to show that. Right? So marketing teams not upskilling is a very big and real problem. Reason number 3, not meeting customers where they are at. Folks, your customers are online. If you are not meeting your customers where they are, you are missing out on properly connecting with them. Millennials have the buying power now and connect with brands through value-driven content. Failure to do this means not connecting or tapping into this group. A big part of the marketing research documents that I prepare for some of my corporate clients is when we analyze all of the competitors within their space in their country, and then even in other countries when we're looking at, who are some of the other companies around the globe that you guys enjoy, that you guys like, that are doing some great things within your space. When we analyze the landscape, we can get a breakdown of what social media platforms are the customers on that have visited the group of businesses that we are analyzing. We get a report that shows us what social media platforms these people are on. So when we know the age group, when we know the age breakdown, when we know the gender, when we get the report on what social media platform. So if we analyze 10 businesses, and of the 10 businesses, we get a breakdown of the age and gender demographics of everyone who's visited those websites. And then we can see, what social media platforms they're on, and we get a breakdown from, first to last, whatever. We could then create the right content for the right demographic on the right platform. What happens now is that everybody's operating on their own bias. So you have people be like, you know what, we're not gonna use LinkedIn because our clients are not there, or we don't like LinkedIn. And then it's like when you get the report, you're like, yo, LinkedIn is the number one most used platform for your specific audience. So we've analyzed the 15 competitors in your country, in your industry, and the number one platform that all people are using is LinkedIn, and you're not using it because of your own bias, that's a problem. But that's what happens, is that most of the businesses sit down and their internal people are making decisions based on their own bias. And if you are not using platforms because of your own personal opinion, but when we look at the data and we see which platforms your people are on, then you got to be able to jump on those platforms. So number 3, again, all these reasons are very important as to why we're not getting the best bang for our buck as businesses in the marketing space. But this is huge. Not meeting your customers where they are. You are not on the platforms that your customers are, or your clients are, simply because of your own personal bias. And then you don't have the data to show whether or not you should be there or not be there, because your internal marketing team has not upskilled and they don't even know how to generate their own reports. So you see how all that just piles onto each other. Reason number 4. And look at that. Reason number 4, not using data. Businesses not tapping into all the data in 2021. In 2021? What? Your businesses are not tapping into data? That's insane. That is insane. Every company needs to go and find some SEO specialists, search engine optimization specialists, and become their best friends. Because the amount of data available to us to get precise insights into our audience is astounding. Business decisions and content need to be based on data and not on our personal biases for what we think our audience wants. And what platforms like Google, Bing, any of the search engines, they're focused on content. And what you'll see is that in 2021, search engine optimization specialists have transformed because they're now combined with content marketers. So if you go onto platforms like a HubSpot Academy, you will see more courses that are combined with SEO specialists and content marketing, because as an SEO specialist, we get exposed to tools that mine data. And that data is what a content marketer can use to create a content marketing strategy and then execute. So if you do not know how to mine the data, I have a course, and I'll link to the course in the show notes, with how you can do your own market research. So this would be great for a lot of the small to medium businesses that want to learn how to do their own market research. I have a course that's teaching that, right? And I will link to that in the show notes. But then you could also go onto platforms like a HubSpot Academy, a SEMrush Academy, RFs, RFs Academy. You could go onto Udemy and you could do the content marketing and SEO courses, because that will expose you to the tools that we use as SEO specialists to mine the data. And then you could turn that into your content strategy and build your content around the data. If you are not basing your content off of data, if you do not have a monthly report of the data of all that is happening with your prospective clients, and I'm not talking about you're looking at just your social media data for what has happened. You need to learn how to do search engine listening. I'll say that again. You need to learn how to do search engine listening. That is mining the data from search engines. Once you can mine the data from search engines, you have access to the platforms that are collecting the most data on humans ever. The data that you get from social media insights is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. That's peanuts. That tells you what's happened. Hey, of your 500 customer or followers, this is where they're coming from. It doesn't really give you anything. But when you do search engine listening, the amount of data that the search engines are collecting on everybody, everywhere in the world, it's amazing. And you are able to tap into the search engine data when you do courses like your SEO and content marketing courses, or you could jump in to the show notes and do the course that I created on how to do data research. And then that would go ahead and build your content marketing strategy and help in developing your business, because now you understand what your audience wants and you understand what's happening with your competitors. And then you could really get targeted and super strategic. And these are things that you should be doing, every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, but you're looking at the data. But every month, everybody should have a compiled report as to a prospective document, mining that search engine data so you guys know what is happening. The fifth reason as to why marketing does not do well in the Caribbean is, folks, ads are not content. I repeat, ads are not content. Content marketing is the number one form of marketing. It builds trust, it educates, and shows that you are willing to show your audience that your services, products can enrich their lives. Content marketing also positions your brand as a leader in your space. And when people believe that you are the leader, when they're coming to your platform because your platform is the learning resource center for everything in your respective space, That builds trust, and people come back to you for all things in related to your space. What happens is that the majority of businesses that we have across the region, all they're doing is outsourcing marketing activities to ad agencies, and ad agencies are just creating ads. More and more static ads or video ads, and it's ads. Sell. That is not the way to sell in 2021. It hasn't been the way to sell for some years. Social selling and content marketing have been the number one forms of marketing for some years now. And we have not gotten a clue. We haven't started. Everything is an ad. When is the last time you even listened to a commercial on TV or radio? You creating these static ads is the equivalent. And we are fed up. You are spending tons of money boosting these ads. You're getting likes, but no engagement, no conversion. And then you can't even tell if you're getting conversion because you don't even have the infrastructure to see whether or not these ads have turned into revenue. You don't even have the infrastructure. And then even if you did have the infrastructure, your marketing teams haven't even upskilled to understand what they're even looking at. And it just piles on, right? So we need to get into content marketing, creating ads that educates. So when we do the research and we could see, hey, these are the top questions that people are asking around investing. And 500 questions were asked around investing in the last 30 days in Trinidad and Tobago or in Jamaica or in Barbados or in St. Lucia. And you get all those questions, and now you take those questions and turn it into content. You get it on your website, and then you optimize it so that it's found by the search engines. Therefore, when people are Googling, your content leading back to your website or your video shows up. Just creating content and leaving it on social media. Remember, social media content has a shelf life of less than 48 hours. After 48 hours, the social media platforms bury your content, not to be seen. But when you create content on your website and it's indexed by the search engines, organic traffic is always a thing. And as long as you are creating the right content and you've done the research to know exactly what questions to answer and what content to create, then anytime people are Googling questions related to your space, you should have content that's showing up as a result. And that can happen from now till that kingdom come. But it doesn't work like that on social media, right? Because social media is not a search engine. It's not indexable by the search engines. Your websites are, though. Your YouTube channel is. So you want to be creating content that educates, and you want it to be on platforms that are indexed by the search engines. That way, when people are typing in the questions that they have, your content is showing up for your business. Failure to do that, well, you're just going to be usurped and lose market share, digital market share, to people who are doing it. And the less traffic you can get to your platforms is the less opportunities you have to sell. So, folks, those are the top 5 reasons that I have as to why marketing doesn't work well in the Caribbean. And in 2021, businesses in the Caribbean need to make that shift. The market will not wait for you to get it right. And that's we believe in the Caribbean that time waits for us. Time will wait for us to get it right. No. When you start to calculate your opportunity loss and how much was lost because you did not jump on something, you'll cry. Time is not waiting for us to get it right. You need to have a sense of urgency. We are behind. We are years behind. And we're years behind not because we lack the technology. We might not have everything, but we have enough. But where we lack is in the mindset. The mindset to go out and get this right. The mindset to make the shifts needed to take our businesses to the next level. That is where we lack. And time isn't waiting for us to get it right. We don't get it right, we lose. And given the pandemic and everything that's happening right now, that's what's happening. More businesses are losing. And they have no idea where they're going to be able to rebound, when they're going to be able to rebound, how to rebound. But you're not even doing the work necessary to understand what is happening in today's day and age. But that's another story, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode on the 5 reasons why marketing does not do well in the Caribbean. And this is applicable across the board. Whether you are a small business, medium-sized business, corporate, this is applicable across the board. As a small business, when you have to wear multiple hats, unfortunately, folks, it's not enough just to create a really dope product. You need to learn how to build your digital presence and how to market online as well. And hopefully you build yourself up enough to a point where, you could start to outsource some of the things you might not be good at. Or learn how to tap into freelancers, learn how to tap into platforms, like a Fiverr, freelancer.com. Again, in a couple of days, we're going to be talking about some of the Caribbean platforms that are promoting freelancers, where you can get local freelancers. So there are ways to outsource some of the things that, you if you don't like it or you can't do it well, there are ways to outsource these activities, and for good costs. I abuse Fiverr all the time. Fiverr is my best friend. Does a lot of things for me that I either don't want to do or don't have the time to do, or I'm just flat out not good at. And that's okay. Knowing where your resources are and how to tap into them is all a part of the process in building your business. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. As always, you guys can find me on social media at Karen Rose. I'm Karen Rose on every platform. I am most active on platforms like LinkedIn and Instagram. You guys can subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's going to be a lot of content. There's a lot of content coming out on the YouTube channel as well. You could jump over to KarenRose.com. That's my platform where I talk all things online business, e-commerce for the Caribbean. And then there is Digipreneur.fm. So all of our episodes for the podcast and then the live sessions that we do, everything is going to be on that website. That's going to be a platform with just tons and tons of content to come. So if you have not subscribed to the email list or the notification list on Digipreneur.fm, please, folks, go over and check that website out. I will see you folks in the very next episode. Take care.
You've been listening to the Digiboss, Karan Rose. We hope your notepad was filled after this episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. The learning doesn't stop, folks. And to make sure you don't miss any gems from the Digiboss, go over and follow him on all social media platforms at Karan Rose. Folks, don't just sit there with a notepad. We need you to implement at least one thing into your business before the next episode. That's the only way your business levels up. Thanks for listening to Digipreneur FM. Now go be great.